Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday morning, and we're just off the interstate here in Indiana. Keith and I drove up here to meet Robbie from United by Trucks. We're gonna meet up this morning and pick up Mississippi Mud. That's their blue patina 1975 square body project. So we're gonna grab it, we're gonna drag it back home. We've just developed a really cool master cylinder spacer for the brake master on the firewall that we're gonna install for him. We're gonna run all of his brake lines because that's a new product that we're about to release. So anyways, we're working with him to do some of the brake stuff on his truck. So anyways, we're just standing out here now waiting for him and Mike from How's It Doing Garage to pull up, and we're gonna grab that truck and head back. So stay tuned. Tell you what,
this thing got all this rust all the way up here.
This thing looks fantastic rolling down the road.
God.
What's
up, dude?
Hey, great. How are you?
Thanks for meeting me, man.
Yeah, Mike, nice to finally meet you.
How are you, man?
Good, let's hug.
Oh, we hugging? Oh, yeah, man.
Hey, he's not even a hugger. You got a hug?
Well, I said to start us off right.
Sorry about this, by the way.
It needs all the things down low.
Oh, oh!
Yeah.
The roof's good, Insider.
Yep. That's about it.
So is this I mean, I guess it's factory paint. I just never seen it.
Oh, yeah.
A light blue like this.
Yeah, it's called Skyline Blue Paint Code 20.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually on the spit in the glove box, but I don't know what the years they made it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the early 70s for sure. But yeah, this sucker needs a whole, I mean, it's getting a whole new floor to get a little bit of this cab back section probably from here down.
Yep.
Let's come up into here.
So didn't AMD just come out with a whole back of the cab too? You're gonna get one of those and section it?
Yep.
Hell yeah.
That's exactly what we're gonna do.
Yep.
AMD didn't have a full cab floor, so I ended up having to order another one from
I remember you
somewhere
saying
else,
that.
but we're gonna do
Yep.
rockers, corners,
Good.
cab back.
It does have a look. Look at this side.
I mean, it's in the whole bed side. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same way.
Yeah, this has the look over here.
I think it's gonna be cool. I mean, it's gonna be a little more work than I expected. But
Yeah. Clown driving this truck. I'm sorry, I have to get out. I had to quit what I was doing. Morning. Oh, there's no, look. It's a convention or something.
Like that. I think you're gonna figure out what's wrong.
Was that not weird to you guys?
Not really. It's Indiana.
This is going to be Robbie in the Cruise truck that's a little more performance oriented, a little sportier. And one of the things that we're going to help with is that we've recently released a master cylinder spacer for these trucks. So we're going to install that. And what it does, and we'll get into this a little deeper, but from the factory, the manual master cylinder, it did fine because there's no proportioning valve up on the firewall. But one of the common things that we do a lot is install a Willwood Tandem master cylinder, and that Tandem master cylinder comes with a combination proportioning valve and front brake line split that's right here next to the master cylinder. It comes with its own mounting bracket. The little hard lines are already pre-bent, and it's just ready to install. So all you have to do is a front and rear circuit right out of that proportioning valve. However, if you want to just simply install manual brakes and that master cylinder onto a stock firewall with this reinforcement, you don't have room. This master cylinder protrudes enough to where none of that will fit. So you put on our spacer, the master cylinder, and you got tons of room. So anyways, we're gonna tear this apart. We're gonna develop a soft line brake kit that's DOT approved for these trucks, and we're gonna show you how to install our master cylinder spacer. So now that we've talked a little bit about the firewall spacer and how it pushes the master cylinder out to clear the reinforcement, I want to show you one of the modifications that has to be done to the factory pedal assembly in order to run that spacer. And it's actually pretty simple. And there's some pedal ratio stuff in here that I'm going to talk about that'll help you understand a little bit more about manual brakes. So here is the factory manual transmission pedal assembly that came out of Robbie's truck. So one of the things that we do is that we have to knock all 4 of these studs out of the firewall. There's simply just a little tack. There's a tack weld, usually on both sides of each stud. So one thing you can do is you could grind the head all the way off, or you could just try to come in here and grind the welds off and then knock the stud out. Be careful not to bend up the flanges, but remove all 4 of the studs. Included with our master cylinder spacer will come it'll come with extended studs. So the new extended studs can slide in the new hole and you can tack weld those studs in. Or if you can't weld, you can simply just grind those off, knock these out, and you can nut and bolt that if you wanted to. It'd be a little more of a pain in the butt and be a 2-man job then to tighten the bolts, but if you can weld them, that would be best. For down here, you can leave these studs if you want to, and you can put a nut, but in our spacer, we include a nice 3/8 ARP bolt. And so the nicer thing would be to weld our 3/8 nuts to the back of this so you could bolt some beauty, some nicer stainless bolts through the firewall. So we're going to show you how to do that. And one of the things that is required when you do manual brakes is to check the pedal ratio. I'll pull this pedal out here in a minute and we'll look at this, but on the 73 to 87 trucks, there were 2 different ratios that were available. It was the same lever, but they put this pin or stud in 2 different locations depending upon whether or not you had power brakes here or manual brakes here. Robbie got lucky and this was a lever that was for manual brakes already, so the stud was at the 6.3 to 1 ratio. If your truck was an automatic and had power brakes, you'd simply have to grind this side of the stud off and use a punch and hammer and knock that pin out, move it up, and burn a weld back into this side. So anyways, when you do the manual brakes, the pin location closer to the pivot is the manual brake location. So you'd have to make sure you got that going on. But anyways, we're gonna get this wrapped up. We're gonna throw it back in. We're gonna install the spacer and run all the soft lines. All right, here's Robbie's pedal assembly. Sure enough, my camera died whenever Peter was knocking out those studs. But so let me just tell you that all you gotta do is we took a cutoff wheel and just walked a cutoff wheel back and forth until we got most of the head gone. Then all you gotta do is take a punch and a hammer and knock the stud out and then sand that stuff clean. And then in this case, we welded these. Now keep in mind that on a square body, the master cylinder is at the top 2 holes. C7 to 72, the master cylinder is actually at the bottom 2 holes. So weld the long studs or simply put the long studs in the top hole and then the nuts go on the bottom, and you're ready to go for our firewall spacer and a Willwood manual brake master cylinder. So one of the cool things about this is that it comes with all the hardware, and you'll have to take your pedal assembly out and install the longer studs, but we give you nuts also so that you can install some really nice ARP fasteners on the bottom. So then you just have the 2 studs. Peter went to get me. Hey, where's that ratchet, Peter? And that bolt. Would you go inside there and push the pedal assembly towards the firewall? So anyways, comes with these 3/8 ARP bottom bolts. That way you don't have to have 4 studs all the way sticking through. And then we'll give you these extended studs and the correct nuts for these too. When we sell these to you on our website, we're gonna sell these with the correct push rods too. So it'll make it really easy.